Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Recap Fusion. So friends, the story we are going to discuss today is called The Desert. This is the story of a girl's courage that the whole world is admiring her today because of what she's achieved. So let's see what's so amazing of what she did. It's 1975 and the place is Central Australia. Here we see a girl named Robin who has come to Alice Springs. She has a dog with her too. Robin is telling us that she is going on a trip, and that trip will be to the Australian desert from Alice Springs to the Indian Ocean. Its distance is 2,000 miles. Now, the story begins and she spends the first few days in a hotel. But after a few days, she goes to a camel farm where she asks a man for 2 camels. But the man refuses because he thinks her plan is nonsense. Eventually, he offered Robin 2 camels if she would work for him for 8 months for free. He will also train her to rear a camel. Then Robin thought the offer was very good and she agreed. But finally, the man asked her what she would do with the camels. So Robin says she wants to cross the Australian desert on foot. Hearing this, the man was surprised how a girl alone could make such a long and dangerous journey. He asks her why she is on the verge of losing her life because the journey is too dangerous. She tells him that her father crossed the Kalahari Desert in 1935 and then dreamed of trekking from the Australian desert to the Indian Ocean. But he died before that, and now I want to fulfill his dream. And yes, I am a brave girl and will do it. Well guys, as the story progresses, we will find out if Robin completes her journey or not. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Next, we see the man let her visit all of his camels and then she pitched her tent and lived there. From the next day, she starts working on the farm and the man teaches her how to control and use the camels in all situations. Robin soon learns this, and meanwhile, many tourists keep arriving to ride the camels, which was also her responsibility to look after. The owner of the farm asks her to stay here without her shoes to prepare herself for a walk in the desert. Then you will be able to complete this long journey. Well guys, her 8 months of working here were finally up. Then Robin goes up to the guy and reminds him of the deal. But the man betrays her and throws her out after scolding her. Robin angrily goes to the southern region where she finds a broken house. She decides to stay there with her dog. A short distance away, she sees another farm, whose owner is Silai. He tells her that it seems she is not in love with her life as she is going to travel 2,000 miles alone. But he agrees to help her with this and says that he can only give her 1 camel. For that, you must work here for a month. Then Robin agrees and starts working for him from that very day. Silai takes her for a walk with his camel, which she enjoys very much. Then, slowly, a month passed. And this time, Robin got the camel, because this time, Silai didn't deceive her. But it was just 1 camel. She needed more camels to finish her journey. However, she had to use this 1 camel for now. One day, some of her friends came to meet her. She feels very happy to see them, as she was meeting someone she knows after a year. With her friends was a man named Rick, who is a National Geographic photographer. Rick tells her that he can inform the magazine about her trip. They will publish the news all over the world, and she will become famous too. Now, one of Robin's friends asks her why she wants to travel so long, and she should decide on a short distance. Robin refuses because this trip is for her father and not herself. After that, they all talked about it, but Robin didn't like that anymore because she thought they were wasting her time here and preventing her from reaching her destination. So she comes outside and starts talking to her camel. After a while, her friends started leaving and Rick clicked her picture and placed it there. After he leaves, Robin sees the picture. On the back was a note. Call me in Washington, D.C. if you need me. I will come to your aid. After they leave, Silai comes and tells her that the camel she brought is pregnant. Hearing this, Robin decided to make her next journey after the camel gave birth to her baby. The scene changes, and we see that Robin went to the same farm where she worked before. But there, she learned that the previous owner had sold his farm to someone. There was a new owner, and Robin tells him that the previous owner promised to give me 2 camels, but he didn't. So now you give them to me. But he refused. and he tells her to ask the man who has made a covenant with you. Meanwhile, we see a man unable to handle a camel that goes wild, but Robin overcomes him, and the man gets overjoyed. Seeing her madness and ability, he gave her 2 camels. After getting this, she becomes very happy. At night, she writes a letter to Rick saying that she wants the National Geographic Channel to sponsor her trip. And then we see that her she-camel had given birth. A few more days pass like this. Now, Shyli comes to her one day and gives her a letter from Washington. This pleases Robin as they were willing to sponsor her trip, but on the condition that Rick would go with her and film the documentary. But she doesn't like it because she wants to travel alone, as she can find her inner man after traveling alone. A few days later, Robin's sister arrives and Rick is also with her. He brought some equipment for the journey that would be helpful for her. Shyli gives Robin a gun and tells her to shoot any wild camel that comes near you. And finally, the day came when Robin started her journey, because everyone helped her with that. She was going across this hot desert with her 4 camels and a dog. Before leaving, Rick clicks a picture of her from the magazine and says that they will meet at the next destination. Finally, her journey begins. She must cross the entire desert in that heat. Slowly, 29 days passed, and she was no longer that old Robin. Her face was blotchy and she is thirsty. She then arrives at a garden, but the guards forbid her to go there, as animals are not allowed there. So she pitched her tent outside where Rick came, took her picture, and went back. While the picture he took was not good, he came to see her again tomorrow, and so the sandstorm happened, in which all of Robin's things are scattered. But Rick comes to take her pictures of her instead of helping her. Seeing this, she got very angry. Rick realizes his mistake and apologizes to her and tells her that he will now meet her in the Tasmania village, which is a village of black people in Tasmania. Rick keeps coming to aid her to keep her spirits up. Because of that, she stayed strong, and Rick could also make a documentary about it. The next day, Robin starts her journey again, and like every day, she must face the scorching sun on the way. But it all became normal for her. Now, she has completed 61 days. One day, she woke up to find that her dog named Docky and all camels were missing. She was worried, but after some time, she found them. Then, she scolded them to never leave her alone. She then hugs them. Now, walking in the same way, she reached a village of the black people. It's a traditional village where Rick was already with his friend. After resting there for a while, Rick left the next day. But Robin decides to stay there some more. She was interested in understanding their lifestyle and how they were living with such meager resources. One day, Robin was eating. Then she saw 3 wild camels coming towards her. Her dog gets scared and starts barking. At first, she thought of running away from there, but she didn't. So she, out of compulsion, shoots those 3 camels as told by Shyli, and then the story goes on. Now, gradually, the effects of heat and sunlight began to be seen on her face. Her feet began to tremble as her body weakened, but then she saw a dry lake that held hope for her. She waters her camels and refreshes herself. Meanwhile, some Tasmanian people came in who were very nice. Robin sits down with them and has a chat. A man asks her where she was going. She replied that she was going to the Western Ocean. Hearing this, the man was surprised how a single girl could travel so far. Here they don't know that girls can do anything. Now the man sent a man from his group named Addy to help her and said that he would take you by a small path because he knows the paths well. Now Robin has a fellow adventurer to cheer her on. Just like that, 84 days pass and Addy and Robin move on. In between, they talk a lot. Addy also knows some English, so he understands what she is saying. Now on the way, they meet a man who was also a traveler like Robin. Robin stops there for some rest, and the traveler tells Robin that the people in Addy's community are good and respectable. Hearing this, Robin goes to Addy and asks him to come with her, but he refuses, saying that his shoes are torn and the rest of the journey is too long. So Robin gave him the traveler's shoes and he agreed to go with her. There, Robin also gives him the gun because he likes using it so much. Well, the journey goes on, and in between they meet some people who are photographers. They are interested in clicking her picture, but she ignored them and moved on. Gradually, Robin was becoming popular all over the world. As they move on, Addie gives Robin some leaves that serve as nourishment for her. Robin loved Addie's company because he was telling her the right things to do about the trip. After a few days, she meets Rick and he clicks her picture and gives her the gun, which Robin asked for as a gift for Addie. Addie was happy to see this. Addie reached his village and many people like him were there. He introduced them all. Now, Robin's condition was slowly getting worse, and seeing that, Rick asked her, "Do you still want to go ahead? See for yourself. You've become weak." But she says that if so many days have passed, then let me try a few more days. Here, Rick falls in love with Robin, so he cares about her and says, "Well, I'll leave water for you on the way, and that'll help." Here, Addie's journey comes to an end and Robin says goodbye to everyone and moves on. But still, her journey was very long. She had now completed 180 days in this desert. Blisters began to appear on her body and feet. Her condition was now very bad. She had also finished the water, but she does not give up and keeps her spirits high. After some time, she saw a house where an old couple lived. She moved closer and they both let her inside. They first give her some food according to her condition and then ask her to rest. Robin spends a few days there before leaving to do the rest of the journey. Now it's time to go, and the couple gives her a map and says, "If you follow it, you'll get there soon." They also give her some clothes. Then Robin leaves and spends the night in the desert. Ever since she began her journey, she has seen her father in visions, who gives her courage and shows her the way forward. Now, on the way, she sees a dead animal and thinks to eat it, but only remembers Addie's advice that we can't eat such dead animal. It can spoil your health. So Robin leaves it, but at night her dog eats it, and he gets food poisoning. As dawn breaks, and he is in such pain, which Robin can't see, and must shoot him. After that, she cries a lot because it was the only sign her father gave her. She is now alone. Meanwhile, a sandstorm arrives just as she was regaining her composure. Robin lays there to protect her from the storm. And we saw here that she was very tired, so she slept there. A very long snake passed through her neck, but she did not even notice. Similarly, 185 days passed, and her body became so weak. She doesn't even know what she's doing. Her mental condition was also not good. She hasn't spoken to anyone for these days. There came a few cars of journalists who wanted to interview Robin, but Robin is horrified to see so many and hides herself behind a bush. Then comes Rick, who gives support to her. He asks about her dog, and then she starts crying and tells him that her dog is no longer alive. Robin then sees that she has nothing to do with the trip. She is all alone. She says, "I don't know what to do." Robin was saying all this because her mind wasn't working right at the time. She is hungry and thirsty. Rick encourages her by telling her that everyone in the world is lonely. Missing her dog, she says she wants to end the journey here. But Rick gives her courage to complete the journey, saying, "Do you remember why you started this journey? You started this journey for your father, and you must complete it." Robin takes courage from these words and then decides to make the rest of the journey. There, Robin pleads with Rick to keep the reporters away because she doesn't want to meet them. He agrees, and then Robin moves on. After 195 days, Robin was slowly reaching the Indian Ocean. This is not the Robin we saw 200 days ago. She has changed completely. She has the courage to do anything now. She can do whatever she wants. Here, the entire Indian Ocean comes before her. She is very happy to see this and runs into the sea. And we also see Rick there waiting for her. She embraces him and goes to the sea with all her camels. After watching this story, you must think about the saying that dreams are not what we see in sleep, but what we do not let us sleep. Just like Robin's dreams. By looking at this sea and desert, we know how beautiful the world is. I just want to say that you guys should travel alone once in your life because it will help you discover your inner man or woman, who you really are. With that, the story ends here. This entire story is based on a true incident. At the end of the story, we see some real pictures of Robin and how she fulfilled her father's dream. Please, guys, give me your feedback about this story in the comments below. See you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.